What's going on YouTube? It is Texans Takeover back in another video. In today's video, I'm doing another 7-round mock draft. I'm going out of town, so I kind of have to get content out there that I know y'all will enjoy. I can't really do anything too long standing yet because I'm going out of town, so I'm trying to record for today and tomorrow and then be able to post these videos. So I'm just doing another 7-round mock draft. You guys really enjoy these. I really like playing around with different scenarios. You can see the settings I use. I just use the traditional settings that PFF uses. So I'm just gonna enter the draft here, and we'll go a little slower than fast. Actually, that's significantly slower than fast. But if there's someone we want to trade up for, I'm gonna explore the idea of trading up in this one. As you can see, no offensive lineman until pick 14 is that there. Spencer Fauna goes here, then that changes. Fauna and Iona go back to back, so I'm not going to look to move up at all, I don't think, and that's the case here. At 28, I think this is actually a spot you can look to move back. I haven't gone with Caden Proctor. I'm not too big of a fan, so I'm not going to rave over him. I think my favorite option really is to get the Jets 33 and 44 somehow, if they're interested some way. I mean, if you throw in everything, they're not. Okay. I guess that's just a PFF thing. You can only trade with the teams that are interested in trading for a pick. Um, but I mean, the Giants at 37 could be interesting. We just already have their third. The Chiefs at 40, if you could pick up something like this. I mean, you can do that. And, that sets you up really well in the second round. But I kind of want a top of the second round, like Cardinals. There's not, no one's interested. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't, I think you might just stick and pick here. I really like the idea of a Monroe Freeling, to be honest. But I feel like you could wait a little bit if you really want to. Go get a guy like a Ian Atchor or Miller. I was watching Miller today actually. I was talking to Stressens about it. He looks really solid. So there's that. But in terms of the tackles, I think Freeling can be coached up really well, and be one of the better tackles in the league with the traits he possesses. So I think if you're able to move down slightly and still get him, I think your best bet would be to go to like 31, pick this up. I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna try to work a trade, and then I'll come back to y'all because this is kind of ridiculous that no team is willing to do this. So, yeah, might take a while. So I'm just gonna pause it here and then try to work a trade, and then I'll come back. Okay, so finally I was able to get the Jets to break, and they move up into the first round. We give them 28, 69, and 128, and then we move down 5 spots, move up 25, and then move back 50 in the later round. So hopefully Monroe Freeling doesn't go there because that's who I'm really wanting to draft, and of course he does. Pretty much everyone goes that you'd maybe want there at 3 in a row. Whatever happens sometimes in the draft, you can't get them all. Here at 33, though, I am going to pull the trigger on Mr. Christen Miller. Um, I've seen some people that aren't too big fans of him. I'm a huge Christen Miller guy. Really good run defender, really going to plug some gaps for you every time you play him. I mean, he has his issues just like any other big defensive lineman, like a Lee Hunter, like a Caleb Banks, who went there at 16. These guys' pad levels are so high because of how big they are, but that's something you can coach in the NFL with proper coaching. And I mean, you have Christen Miller there. You have um, obviously Will Anderson, Daniil Hunter. Teams are not going to be able to scheme against that. So I think, potentially getting a D lineman that's really good, like a Lee Hunter or Christen Miller, could be something that's intriguing. For this, I am going to pull the trigger on Christen Miller, though, just because I really like the player. And I feel like I haven't gone with him in a while. So there is that. Here at 38, I think Dylan Teneman is an interesting one. I think you can work the board a little bit and use 40 and 165 to move up 4 slots. I'm taking that all day of the week with the Chiefs. So I think you can go double here. And I'm going to go with Mr. Emmanuel Pregnon first because I don't think they'll go with Teneman, which they do not. Um, so it puts us in a really good position here. I think you could trade down here if you do want to go draft a tackle. I don't think it's the biggest concern. You could double up on defensive line and go with Lee Hunter here if you just want to build the best defensive unit I think any NFL team will ever see. And there's potential for that, but I really like Dylan Teneman as a fit to the Texans. I really like Pregnon too. Really good pass blocker, really good run blocker, especially this past year. Really good in the zone scheme. Really solid base. Very similar to Sam Hecht from Kansas State, I'd say. Just coached up really well, really good base. And he's not really going to let you pass. So really good player there in Emmanuel Pregnon. I really like the way he plays the game. Another guard I really like is Chase Basantis. I think he has potential to go in the first round. One of the better pass blockers in this entire draft. I really like him. Obviously, the Iowa guys and Bo Stevens and Logan Jones showed out in the Senior Bowl. Pat Coogan, I love. Keelan Rutledge showed out in the Senior Bowl as well. Jake Slaughter had a good Senior Bowl himself too. But I think, yeah, Pregnon was creme de la creme this past season in college football in terms of offensive linemen, so that's going to be picked there at 38. Here at 40, I am going to pull the trigger on Dylan Teneman. I think it's a big need. Um, you know, I know some people don't really value it as that big of a need, but I think getting a run stopping safety who can play, multiple different positions. He can play the nickel for you if Jalen Petrie goes down. He can play deep. He can play in the box. He can play anywhere you really want him to. He provides you with that flexibility, and you know he can be that run stopping safety for you to play that strong safety. Texans run um, five DBs a lot, and I think that's something that Teneman would really be good in. A good scheme for him because he can be a hybrid linebacker if you really want him to. I know he's only 6 foot, but he is very quick and he's a hard hitter. He's able to tackle really well. So there is that. Here at 59, it's Price and then Ian Atcher maybe. Um, a team that would take a running back, maybe the Broncos at 62. So if you can move down to 61 and get like 206 and 209 or maybe 167, 209, 232. I'd do this all day of the week. And it doesn't work with an 81% chance, but then it does work. Hopefully, no one goes to Darian Price here, as the Bills do, of course, even though they have James Cook. Makes a lot of sense. You know what? Maybe it's a blessing in disguise because it does allow us to move down. Obviously, I really like Maxi Ihenacho. I would love to just pull the trigger on him here, but there are some glaring needs here down the board, like a tight end, like another running back, potentially Jonah Coleman, potentially just getting Blake Miller at tackle, who I think is another top 25 player in this class. And the Jets here at 69, if they give something like this, I'd do it all day of the week. Maybe even move up here and then move down here. No, I'll take 128, 175, move down. So that gives us a lot of draft capital to potentially move up with. But hopefully one of the tight ends are available here, and then I'll move back up around maybe the Chiefs spot. Um, with some late round picks, as Ian Asher almost fell to 69. Eagles with a good pick there. 69 here. I am going to try to move up again. 73 for like 106, 128, 175, 170. I mean, would I have to give up the rest of my draft? Pretty much. So maybe it's a little more expensive than I thought. Maybe like 76. I mean, that would get it through. So we do have the capital to move up. I think if you take away 175 and go with no, you need 175 and maybe you do 178 and then take away 167, give up 165 and try this. We'll try it, see if we can move up to 76. That's a lot of picks to move up, but I do think it is going to be worth it in the long run. And here we will go with Mr. Max Klare out of Ohio State. I think that's a really big need, and I think it fills it really well. So there's that. I know running back's a need. Maybe Jonah Coleman could be the guy that we do bring in. I really like Jennings Dunker. I really like Terrell Jackson Jr. Chase Basantis is still here, which is hard to say no to. Same with Jacob Rodriguez. But I think Blake Miller could be at a spot where we really need him. Especially if you don't bring Ed Ingram back, which it seems like he might be priced out at that 15 million to 18 million range. So I think Blake Miller's an all-important pick here, and then I do want to move back up kind of to get Mike Washington Jr. down. So if you can give up 232 to get up to like 132, give up 6 next year. I think that's fair. Yeah, we'll try that. see if that goes through, and it does. So you move a 6 next year to pick up an earlier pick in this draft at 132, and I'm going to go with Blake Miller here with the hopes that either a good linebacker is available or a good running back in Mike Washington Jr. is available. As Emmett Johnson goes there, haven't seen Mike Washington go quite yet, so a good sign for me. A lot of guys that I really like in this draft are going right now. I did see the Arkansas logo, but that was not Mike Washington Jr., so easy pick here, pulling the trigger all day of the week. And we will move around this board a lot to have ultimately 8 guys in this draft class, 3 in the 7th round though. So maybe there's potential that we do move up to the 6th. And is there anyone on the board that we particularly like? I guess I can't really see. So we'll just resume this. It's going to be a quick mock draft, I guess, today. But we will go turbo just to get back up in the drafting position. And here down the board, I think you're just looking for depth pieces. I think Peyton Bowen could be a solid depth piece on the defensive line. VJ Payne, too, another guy that I like. Eli Heidenreich could be a dynamic playmaker there. I would really like for Max Bredesen to be available in these type of mock drafts, but he's just not. I don't know why. Here down the board, though, you could pick up a draft pick next year, something like this. I guess not, but here at 232, I think you could look to invest in another backup defensive lineman. There's some good guys that I like down the board here. Brandon Cleveland's a guy that comes to mind. So I'm just going to pull the trigger. I'm not even going to ask 2 questions about it. Another depth piece on the defensive line, I could go with Trey Smith here, who I really like. Huge, has the frame to play traditional edge in the NFL. Same with the Keyshawn James newbie, though. You can see 244 there. Just not the tallest, but has the production you're looking for. Mason Rieger's huge. You can see 6'5", 248. It has the sack production too. Eric O'Neal could be an interesting option. Just another big guy there too. Kieron Crawford, another big guy as well, at 6'4", 255. But I like the idea of Trey Smith. I think that's something you could look at. I think you could look into the tight ends as well. I like Jack Velling a little bit down the board. I like Tanner Arkin down the board. Good blocking tight end. Something you can look into. And actually, you know what? That's going to be my pick there. I'll double up on... no, I'm not going to double up on tight end. These late round picks always stump me. I'm going to go with VJ Payne on one, at the very least. And then I think you could look linebacker depth here. Eric Gentry could be a fun one. Scooby Williams, I think, is athletic enough to get drafted. Really good in the pass rush game. But he's not going to be a pass rusher in the NFL. He's too small. He's going to be a traditional linebacker that's really good in pass rush downs and can cover. You can see the coverage grade. So that's going to be my last pick in the draft here, finishing out with BJ Payne and Scooby Williams. So we'll see what the grade is. I don't think it'll be too bad. A, B, B minus, C plus, B minus. It's a B. It's all right. It's not the end of the world. But yeah, I think the draft turned out well. Let me know what y'all think down in the comment section below. Had a lot of fun with this one. To be honest, I think it worked out really well, really in our favor. Being able to trade down and get a guy like a Max Klare and pick up some extra assets. Dylan Teneman, Pregnon, Miller are a great starting 3, and then obviously Blake Miller I don't think will be available here, but if he is, then I think it should be the easy pick. I really wanted him in today's mock draft just because I watched this film today, really, that was all. But yeah, let me know what y'all think down in the comment section below. If you did enjoy this video, please be sure to like, subscribe. All your support truly does help. We're at 405 subscribers, so thank y'all for surpassing that 400 mark pretty comfortably. And some big things coming ahead, so stay tuned. And as always, it's Texans Takeover, and I'm out. Thanks again for watching. Peace.